Hi everyone and welcome back. Thanks for joining me. Angie Hayes here of Angie Hayes Therapy. And this is the second video in my series, my mini series, where I'm talking about solution focused approaches to our mental health. And in my first video, I talked more around a general idea of what they are, but this is more detail about the services that I offer for individuals. And I offer solution focused hypnotherapy and solution focused brief therapy. So let's start with solution focused hypnotherapy then. What is it all about? Well, it was designed, the brainchild of this approach was a guy called Dr. David Newton, and many therapists out there like myself trained with the Clifton practice, which is all over the world now. It's nationwide and all over the world. And it is known as the gold standard in solution focused hypnotherapy training. And the reason for that is because it was his brainchild. He was a psychotherapist and a psychiatrist, and he developed this with using the best elements of solution focused brief therapy, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP as we know it, and also using clinical hypnosis, and he combined them into this approach. Now, when I say the best elements, they're actually the most effective elements, or some of the most effective elements. Okay. In a nutshell, we have a solution focused conversation followed by a session of trance or clinical hypnosis, which seeks to work with the way our mind works in stopping the chatter. It's a relaxation technique. It just calms everything down and it allows both elements of the mind to start cooperating with one another, because as you'll see in most of my videos, I have my little friend with me in many of them, and our little chimp can get in the way of a lot of our thinking. A lot of our negative thinking and emotions are processed here, and it's really great when we can just stop that and get back into our rational head and get the two parts of our mind cooperating. And that's all trance seeks to do. So what I start with is one thing I'm most passionate about. If you were to come to me and say, I think it might be a way forward for me, the very first thing we would do is start with an initial consultation, where I would educate you in a lot more detail than I do in my videos, or have time to in my videos, about how our mind actually works, how it creates mental health conditions. And we talk in detail about the condition that you're presenting with, and then what we do to counteract those conditions, how they're created, how we can counteract them, how the therapy actually seeks to do that. It is a highly collaborative process. It's not, some people think that hypnotherapy is just a bit of mind control, that we can go and implant in your brain the suggestion you won't eat chocolate, or you'll go and lose a load of weight and you won't eat anything. It doesn't work like that. You're always going to have free will, because no amount of hypnosis is going to take that away from you. It can implant suggestions, but your mind will only take on the suggestions it wants to take on board. And you see this, I have heard of people who spent an absolute fortune going to some very well-known and famous hypnotists, stage hypnotists, and they said, it worked for a while. I didn't eat chocolate for 3 months, and all of a sudden I started eating it again. Yeah, it's a collaborative process. You've got to be able to override your thinking and your free will to make more appropriate choices for yourself. And no hypnotherapist is going to do that for you. There is an element in you that's going to need to really want to do that. So just be clear on that, because it's not a panacea for mind control and getting you to do what I want you to do. You're still going to do what you want to do. So 3 key things I just want to say about solution focused hypnotherapy then. It's not for everyone. It's 70% effective. There are people it will not work for. There are people who cannot be hypnotized. People who have psychotic episodes, it's really not suitable for them. Perhaps it can help them manage things better, or use it as a tool or a technique to help manage things when their condition is under control through the appropriate medication and oversight of proper professionals. But we cannot see people who have psychotic episodes. And again, for people who tend to be on the Asperger's or autistic syndrome, it can be beneficial for some, it isn't beneficial for all. And the main reason for that is that some people on that spectrum struggle to use their imagination in the same way. So I'll know who they are, because when I'm asking them questions, they'll be wanting me to write it down or draw a picture, because it helps them to see things more clearly. If that's the case, it may not be the best way. Solution focused brief therapy may be the best way. It may be more helpful to you than solution focused hypnotherapy. Clinical hypnosis, as I said earlier, is a relaxation tool. It's not a panacea. It's not mind control. And it's nothing like you see on the television with Derren Brown and Back in the Room and all that stuff, where I'm going to get you barking like a dog or clucking like a chicken. It's nothing like that. As I said, your mind will only take on the suggestions it wants to take. So it's a relaxation tool, essentially. It's a guided meditation. It is not mind control, and it is nothing to be worried about or nervous about in that sense. Most important thing, though, as I said earlier in the first video, is you need to be ready. You need to be all guns blazing. I've had enough of this and I want to sort it out. I'm ready to take that responsibility, because this won't work for you if you're not. And this is one of the reasons why I've now adopted a policy within my practice, where so often in the past I've had partners ring up about their spouses. They're really worried about them. Oh, can I book him in or her in? And I'll go, no, they got to ring me. They've got to ring me themselves and book the appointment. Then I know that they're accepting responsibility and committed to doing something about it. Because so many times I have seen this happen, where partners have been forced to come, or it's been a solution that somebody else has enabled, rather than them seeking a solution that they think will work for them. So that's solution-focused hypnotherapy in a nutshell. Solution-focused brief therapy, purely talking therapy. I've got three main aims with this therapy. I want to know what sort of future you want. I want to know what you want. What's life going to be like in the absence of the problem, when you haven't got any self-doubt, lack of self-worth, bad body image? How are you going to be responding? What are you going to be doing? Because the thing we're going to be doing is working to get complete clarity around that, because you would be responding to things differently, reacting differently, behaving differently, interacting with people differently. So many people say, well, I'd be more chatty and I'd be more engaged. And the key thing I want to do is reconnect you with that amazing person that you actually are inside of you, that person that's bursting to come out, hasn't got the confidence, or you just can't connect with it at the moment. So the questions I ask are really hard sometimes, and they really get you thinking. They get you really, really thinking. And I don't know a lot, because, and that's fine. You don't know because you never thought about it in that way. We're always very good at focusing and framing everything in relation to the problem. We all know what we don't want, but how many times do you know what we do want and what life would be like if we bloody well had it? We don't, do we? So it's hard. It's hard, and it's not an easy process for some people, but believe me, I'll tell you where the magic really happens with this, is when that realization comes, when you vocalize something and you think, oh my God, I never realized I thought that way before. I never realized I did that before. The vocalization, the what comes out your gob, coupled with the realization at that exact moment, switches on a light bulb in people. And I see it so often. All I do is I keep asking and asking solution-focused questions, and I don't let you off the hook. And it's not that I'm bombarding you with questions. I'm curious about you. I want to know about you. I want to know all about you and what floats your boat. Because you will start seeing things with a clarity you hadn't appreciated before. Things that seemed insignificant to you will suddenly gain in significance about things that you've done, you've achieved, the way people have treated you, whether it's appropriate or inappropriate. And all of these things will become more into your conscious awareness, if you like. And you'll begin to think, oh, I'm not sure how I feel about that, and I don't want that, and I want this. And it will just lead to a lovely progressive conversation. Because at the end of the day, I say this all the time. All I want for you is for you to be happy, thriving, courageous, loving, vital, energetic little souls that you were put on this earth to be. We weren't put on this earth to strive and struggle. We were put on this earth to unlock our potential. That's all we're seeking to do here, is just unlock your potential. So I hope that's helped and given you some insight into what these therapies are about and how they work and what to expect. And in the next video, I'm going to be talking about the couples element. So stay tuned and I look forward to seeing you then. Bye for now.